The status of unity of wasanii, unity will never happen. Who do you trust least in your inner circle and why do they still remain there? Wazee wasema kajua hii, wanaweza shangaa. Have you ever watered down a script to please investors or broadcasters? At once has to be around 2.1 million. Fame and talent have no relationship. Business favors fame sometimes. It only favors talent when fame is involved. Wateja wakaanza kutishiana ndani ya basi. Sikumbuki the exact details. There are limitations and you're like, hii inaweza choma, inaweza nichomea. So, wacha ingoje kwanza tupate the balls. My name is Eddie Butita, CEO, SPM Africa. I'm an artist, creative director, a comedian. For the purpose of this show, I am a performer. Wacha nijite performer. Unajua mimi nakuwa na title mingi, kila show ina depending yenye umeniita. Kama umeniita ya business, nakuwa thought leader. Kama umeniita ya honest hivi, nakuwa human. So this is the honest box. I'm ready to answer these questions and I'm ready to be honest. Nitaongea ukweli na ukweli mtupu. Ewe Mola, nisaidie. Let's see if my honest compass is going to be tampered with. Wacha tuone kama honest yangu itashikiwa. Mikrento, open the serefo. Sikuwa najua ina pesa. Okay. Nilikuwa nafikiria ni pesa. Haya. I have many questions. Here we go. This is the honest box. What's the most personal truth you've ever hidden behind humor in your writing? The most personal truth you've ever hidden. Yani, ukweli moja personal nishaificha kwa jokes. I think nikipiga story fulani ya Kariobangi ya vile panya na kunguni usumbuanga watu kwa ghetto. It was based from a true story previous night before niende auditions. So I was just telling it as it is. But is that personal? Okay, it's a truth, but personal ilikuwa kwetu kwa nyumba. Have you ever watered down a script to please investors or broadcasters? Yes. You know, creativity is not supposed to have limits, but sometimes people put in limits because they are in business. And sometimes we have to water down a few things so that we can be on the same page. But that's why in most cases, I do not work with people who want me to water down a production. Because I tried it once and that production never went anywhere. Actually, ilikufia kwa boardroom. So, that's something I'm not willing to do again. Creativity first. Na ikikaa ngumu tunaenda mtandao na freedom. Which story did you steal from real life and never give credit for? Real life. And never give credit for real life. I think ni story nipiga kitambo ya basi ili kwa manga sigalagala. Wateja wakaanza kutishiana ndani ya basi. Sikumbuki the exact details, but ni kitu ishai happen, but siku credit atime. Nilijifanya ati it's work of fiction. Do you believe Kenyan writers are paid for their creativity or their silence? They are paid for their creativity. Silence, people choose to be silent, but I've never came across someone who's paid to keep silent. So they're paid for their creativity. Maybe let's say they're paid to twist their creativity to advance some agendas, maybe, but they're paid for their creativity. The honest box is getting hotter. Have you ever rewritten someone else's script and taken more credit than you deserved? No. Actually, most people don't know what I've written. I've written a lot of things in this country, but sometimes I let you take the shine because it's your time. Then, what's the most money you've ever lost on a film project and who took the blame. The most money I've ever lost in a production project has to be, at once, has to be around 2.1 million. But I was to blame because there are some problems that we had foreseen, but we still went that direction. Honest box. Ha. Have you ever greenlight a movie knowing it wasn't good, just commercially safe? No. Because kama si poa watu wataipenda. So mtu na greenlight kwake, na ndio nimesema ile story ya watering down. Who really controls creative decisions in a production, the producer or the money? It is a creative team and a think tank that I have that sits down and deliberates the target audience, what we want, and they have the final say. Now when it goes to the producer ndiye pia anatuambia kibudget tunaiona haja au kauni execute that. Kama iwezekani tunajenga ingine. But the think tank has the final say. Maswali mingi. What production shortcut do you regret because it was compromised quality? I think ni story ya kushoot bila sound mzuri. Better afadhali kuwa na sauti mzuri na picha mbaya kuliko sauti mbaya picha mzuri. Have you ever buried a project because it threatened your reputation? Mingi sana, but I can't remember the specific one because sometimes you really want to express yourself in creative way, but there are limitations and you're like, hii inaweza choma, inaweza nichomea, so wacha ingoje kwanza tupate the balls. As a director, when does control cross into dictatorship? It is when you are not willing also to listen to other views, because production is a team, different moving parts. That's why people meet production department heads to deliberate and come up with one to be on the same page. So even if you're a director, the set is yours, but be friendly, know how to listen. Honest box. Which actors challenged your authority the most, and what did you learn? I've never worked with people who are just challenging for the sake of challenging. I've only worked with people that when it comes to practicality, they contribute necessarily. Si ati tumekuja kupimana nguvu, hiyo bado. Have you ever blamed a cast or crew for failure that was actually yours? Hapa na mimi ubeba msalaba yangu peke yangu. What directing mistake still embarrasses you but made you better? Which was that? I can't pinpoint. For this one, I'll let it pass. Do actors perform better or out of inspiration or fear? They perform better out of inspiration and also out of fear. Why? Let's say fear of being in a losing project, not fear of the people you're working with. Yes. As the owner of SPM Bars, what ethical line have you come closest to crossing? SPM Bars fundamentally follows a lot of media ethics. All our members of our team have gone to trainings just to understand that we really need to be on a safe space. Why? Because you are only one problem away from destroying the brand. So the ethical line has not been crossed, and we are not planning. Does SPM Bars build long-term careers or short-time? It builds long-term careers. I can count more than 20 people through SPM, directly or indirectly. And the crazy thing is that we have success stories for brands because it's more of an apprenticeship, it's more of training also. We don't just give talents opportunity, we also train them to sustain in this craft. Have you ever used the SPM Bars to settle personal scores? No, but I'm planning. When you deal with me, I deal with you. With all the resources and what I have. But it's not a revenge tool. What truth about how SPM operates will shock upcoming creatives? It's a daily job from morning to evening. There's a dedicated team that works there full time. Even at night, someone has to be awake in case of breaking news until late. If your team spoke freely, what will they criticize you most for? I don't know. So I'm waiting to see what they can criticize me for. If I knew, sasa singekuwa ni ukiritimba. So sijui. But they speak freely. And where there is a problem, it's raised and we handle. When did money start influencing your creative judgment? Forever. After I realized it's business, it sometimes influences creative judgment, because there is a difference between talent and business, and you really need to understand both. That fame and talent have no relationship. Business favors fame sometimes. It only favors talent when fame is involved. That's the funniest thing. Who has benefited more from your journey, you or the industry? Yangu na ni industry. Mimi ndo nimeanza kula matunda yangu. Hii industry me benefit sana, but I'm happy I'm also benefiting now. But the industry came first. Because that's where I'll eat forever, na vitu zingine zitabaki. What promise to young creatives do you worry you might be breaking? The pressure of helping everyone, because every day I get a lot of emails, a lot of calls, the company just trying to mentor me, give me an opportunity. So the sad thing is that I might not come across all of them, but if I'm lucky enough to come across one, I'll do the necessary. Tutasaidiana. If success disappeared today, who will still stand with you? God. What part of your story do you hope never ends up in a script? I think any desperate moment yenye niliwahi jipata kwa maisha, inaweza wazee wasema kajua hii, wanaweza shangaa. Which relationship did you lose because of business, and was it worth it? Many. Actually, you are prone to lose people who are not business aligned when you get into business more. It's a natural thing, natural selection. Business only attracts people that are like-minded. You outgrow people. Who do you trust least in your inner circle, and why do they still remain there? There are some few individuals I don't trust, but they have to remain there. Why? They act as... They are good spies to destroy the competitor. Feed them with the wrong information. But I don't think I have people I trust in my inner circle, kuongea ukweli, because it is very fundamental in everything that we do. But dilemma happens, and sometimes people break the trust, and it's life. And the last honest question is, what's the ugliest conflict you've had behind closed doors at SPM bars? When you run a big corporate NDAs do not allow you to discuss private and behind the scene matters on camera. So for the sake of this, Bwana Director, hapa ulibant. And that's it. Nimejibu maswali zenyu zote at the honest box. Kila kitu imeisha. At least nimeongelea kila kitu. One advice for 2026. One advice for this year. Be shameless. Go for it. Hakunaga aibu kutafuta.